It's working. All right. And hi, welcome to Comic Beat Insider, the weekly live stream podcast about movies, TV, comics, and all kinds of fun things. And it is musical month here on Comic Beat Insider because we cannot wait to liven up our year. So now as always, I'm having a time like
Little time delay.
What is? Oh, I see what's happening. Sorry. Oh, God, always a
To the
technical.
thousands of viewers
I
out there,
know,
we
right?
apologize.
We apologize. So anyway,
This is
okay,
live, so
live on YouTube. So anyway, I am Heidi MacDonald, the editor-in-chief of The Beat at comicsbeat.com.
I'm Jimmy Aquino, the host producer of the long-running podcast Comic News Insider at comicnewsinsider.com.
And joining us, we have Erin.
Welcoming back Erin Crosby. Hey, Erin.
Hello. I'm so excited to be back and talk all things musicals with you all and nerd out. This is my favorite thing to do.
Also a musical theater actor herself and can belt your face off.
Yes.
Amazing
yes,
singer.
We're very honored to be joined by Mr. Dan Fogler, a Tony Award winning.
Yes. Yeah. Nice.
Yes.
How you guys doing?
We're good,
man.
Dan. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for having me. This is very fun.
Yeah. Well,
besides a well-known screen actor, Dan, of course, is a legend in New York theater as well, and like she said, Tony Award winning. So, thank you so much for bringing your knowledge and your fun and everything like that. We can't wait to chat about it.
Yeah, of course, man. I love this topic.
Yeah. Well, Dan and I met through the wonder of comics, and somehow or other, the topic of Jesus Christ Superstar came up, and we learned that we were both very fond of the show. So I thought of him. So what we do on this is we go around, we talk about our first encounter with the Jesus Christ Superstar. So
yes, we are doing Jesus Christ Superstar today, people. Just
yes,
so you know.
in case you didn't know, that's from behind me. That's Judas with one of the anachronistic moments from
the centurions, as they were called in the script. That
So this is a little bit of Heidi's secret origin here. Okay.
Oh,
so Dan, Jimmy, Erin, you are all actual theater performers. I did perform as a cabaret pianist, and I had a little cabaret act back in the day with my own material. I was a singer-songwriter. So I have gotten to perform. I did get my two good
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
well, I don't talk about it much.
It's a secret.
I would like to brag, but
something I did back in the day.
I can tickle the ivories. Let me just
But I was a musical prodigy. That was actually the thing I did more than anything. I played the piano when I was 3 years old, and I taught myself to play Mozart by ear, and I was composing operas and when I was 8 years old. And so music is really my background. I mean, my secret love background. I taught myself to play the piano and
Heidi MacDonald Superstar.
Right.
Jeez.
Wow.
So music is my first and deepest love beyond comics, beyond writing. And, I put a lot of time into it, but then I realized that writing is the easiest thing on earth. And you hit send and now you just hit publish. It's up on the web. Whereas music, you had to write the material. You had to learn the material. You had to learn to perform the material. You had to book yourself own gigs. You had to do promo. You had to put up with sleazy club managers, right?
You have to work for it. My God.
You have to freaking work. So anyway, I was better down the writing aisle. However, I listened to music incessantly as a kid and devoured it and memorized it and learned how to play it on the piano. And there was the day now it wasn't when it first came out. I was too young for that. But somewhere in the 70s, I picked up Jesus Christ Superstar. And I was a fan of classic musicals at the time, and which we'll get
Rodgers
to.
and Hammerstein, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I knew all the songs. I could play them. I know them all by heart. I can,
I was an R&H kid myself, yep.
Yeah. So when I heard Jesus Christ Superstar, I was electrified because it had the classic, like some of the classic just stylings and craft of, old musicals that I was raised on and was taught was the only real musicals. And then it had guitars, rock guitars, and, funk and Motown and all this stuff. And also, as I'm sure we'll get into, it's just the most audacious thing, right? Just like the lyrics are so amazing and the songs. It's just anyway, I was swept away. And since then, Gethsemane is my go-to karaoke song. What can I say?
Just saying, be careful, because
That's-
I had a casting director say you should never sing that unless you can sing it, and I stupidly would sing it for auditions.
No.
But I would sing the last. I would sing the last
Wow.
12 bar cut, which only goes up to a B flat.
Okay.
Whoa.
Thankfully, some people take it up to the C, but no, it only goes up to an A. Sorry, it goes to an A. So people take it to C. So I'd always sing that for the last thing. But like trying to hit that fucking high Q. Are you kidding me? Jesus Christ. No, we're not going to attempt it here, people.
No, we're not going
No.
to.
But anyway, when did you first see it? When did you first?
Well,
see the
then
movie?
I mean, we'll get into all this. I will, memorize it. My friends of mine driving to San Diego Comic-Con, we had a card game where we'd cast Jesus Christ Superstar, like with rock stars, the moment. Who would, right? We all have done that, right? Who should play Caiaphas, right? And then there was a tour in '92 with Carl Anderson and Ted Neely, which I saw, and Dennis DeYoung from Styx as Pontius Pilate.
Yeah.
And so I saw that. And then there was a 2000 revival, which we'll get into.
Ooh,
Which,
sorry.
Oh,
Sorry,
not gonna
something in my
talk about
throat.
it.
Ooh.
We're not going to talk about it.
So that's it. So that's my Jesus Christ story.
But when did you see the movie?
The movie, I don't even remember. I mean, it was just on and I saw it. And I was like bawling and that's it, And then when I first met Jimmy, he told me he'd been in Jesus Christ Superstar. And that is where our friendship.
Yep.
So Jimmy, what about you?
So I actually didn't. I grew up an R&H kid, Rogers and Hammerstein kid myself. I was like very King, and that was my favorite. And I always wanted to play the King. When I got older, and I did the show several times because I'm Asian. You have to. It's in your contract. And if you're Asian, you have to do King and I. So but then it wasn't until really late 80s that maybe early 90s that I discovered, there's other stuff out there. Late 80s. And found like, it's kind of cool. I like it. I didn't love it though. I didn't really get into it. But then when I moved to New York in the 90s, like 94, I really started exploring more theater, musical theater, and got into it and like fell in love with it hardcore. Watched a movie back then. It was probably 95, 94. First time I saw it was like, this is amazing. And then I did a production of there was this dinner theater in Ohio called Carousel Dinner Theater, which was very well known. It would get a ton of great big credits, but they paid you terribly. They don't exist anymore. I could talk shit about them. And but they paid if you're non-equity, like I was at the time. They didn't pay you very well. But if your equity did okay, and several of our cast went on to do several Broadway shows. And our Jesus, John Cudia, he was Phantom and Phantom. He was Valjean and Les Mis on Broadway, and our Judas, Andre Ward, went on to do several Broadway shows. Our Mary, Lisa, was in as well. So it was a good cast. I also had my hair. My hair was down to my butt at the time, so I had my long hair for 20 years. So I looked the part. I was also this thin, so I was also, but I loved it. I used to sing. Like I said, I used to sing Gethsemane, the last 12 bar cut for auditions. And it served me well because it wasn't the high part. Like I'm a high baritone. I on occasion, Erin and I have talked about this. I'm not a trained singer. I can carry a tune. I'm all right, but I never knew how to sustain it. So when I was doing Superstar, I'm singing like C's and D's every 8 shows a week in the chorus because I played every, the chorus. You were in every other role, and I understudied Peter and was one of the priests, one of the lepers, whatever. But then like 3 months later, I'm struggling for like a B flat. I'm like, because I just never really learned how to use my voice, properly. So, but this show sings in the stratosphere, of course, as you see. But I love it. And it's like, we were just talking, I've seen tons of versions of it. I have 8 or 9 different albums. There's amazing productions of it throughout the, history of it. But anytime it comes on, just the music, I can listen to it all day long. It's amazing. But yeah, that was my little story. Love it. How about you, Erin?
Well, I was actually late to the Jesus Christ Superstar game because I was telling Heidi earlier, I grew up pretty religious in a religious family, and it was forbidden.
Yes, Nines Van Bolton. Yeah.
It was completely, and so I never even thought about it, even though I grew up with, a union stage actress mother. that show was not allowed to be seen by anyone in our house or listened to, which is crazy.
Wow.
I know. And she's a totally different person now. She's a lesbian. Like, it's totally different world that I have now.
Hi, Mom. How you doing?
Yeah. Hello, my moms. And but at the time, it was, and we weren't allowed to see it. So it wasn't until I went to conservatory in college. Because I knew some of the music. I knew, I Don't Know How to Love Him and that sort of stuff. And I always loved that song because I was like, oh, this is my kind of song. I can always sing this. And once I got to college and people started actually doing material from it, I was like, what is this? And oh my God.
Yeah.
And I felt really upset that it was kind of kept from me most of my life. So then I had to play catch up, and a lot of it was before, the YouTube and all that sort of stuff. So, where you can lose a whole day now just watching every single person that's ever done Gethsemane. Like I could just lose it.
Oh yeah. There's compilations of who hit the Y the best on YouTube.
And then you find the people that do the high school productions and they don't make it, and it's the best. It's
Why should I?
Why?
It's so good. So yeah, I was late to the game, but I never got to audition for it. I never.
Oh, you'd have been an amazing Mary. Oh my
Oh,
God.
you would have.
I was just in a pocket or a window where when I was working, there kind of wasn't any big productions of it in the city. And then I left the business, and now I'm too old. So there's that.
Yeah, I did audition for, I was telling you guys earlier, I forgot to say, I auditioned for the national tour with Ted Dilly and Carl Anderson in 95 and was up for Peter. It was down between me and this other guy. And he was just a better singer than I was, just hands down. But the producer really wanted me, I could tell. And it paid off years later. The same producer came into one of the bars I worked at. We're like, Jimmy? I'm like, yeah. He goes, what have you been doing? We're doing this new show, this original show. And I basically got cast in this new national tour of this new show because he remembered me and came into my bar.
That's
so
nice.
So Superstar got me a couple things.
There you go. All right, Dan, what's your story?
Oh, wow. So I was introduced to the album first, the 1970 album. So
Ian Gillan, yeah.
My parents were real theater heads, and they would take us to everything. And so I remember they took us to Phantom of the Opera, and I remember sitting there with my brother just being like, oh my God, I'm not into this. And my parents just being like, yes, like, this is not for me. I remember going home with my older brother, and I was like, man, Andrew Lloyd Webber, what's up with him? And he was like, oh, you haven't seen this.
Oh, a reveal.
Yeah, so it was just like, what? And so I was like, okay. So I already had my expectations was like, oh, it's gonna be a rock opera. But then I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
From the beginning with the electric guitar, I was just hooked. And then I started, and then very soon after that, a synchronicity thing, we were going to do the musical that year, the school musical. It was up between a show called Working and a show called Jesus Christ and Jesus Christ. So we were just so no one had the cast album of Working. So everybody was like, oh, I hope we do Jesus Christ Superstar, and everyone was just memorized it. And then we ended up doing Working,
of course.
And attainable show for kids.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever. It was a private school. So so I didn't even sing in that. I was so pissed off. I played this hippie character, and I hardly sang, and I was like, it was a cool monologue, but it was just shit. And so that's when I fell in love with Jesus Christ Superstar, and it was such a cool thing, like you were saying, Heidi, where in a world of the heroes are alive, suddenly I was like, oh my God, it's they made this, at least the music, was for me, and it was my first history of Jesus. That's my that's what's my first telling of the Jesus story,
Nice.
And so then like I just memorized the album. Like I just knew it from head to toe. Love, like, always was like, I hope someday I get to play Judas or something, you know, like I would never, like, who would cast me as Judas, but I just loved singing that role. And then whenever I had like auditions, I would be like, okay, maybe I'll do Herod. Like I could see me cast as Herod or something from the movie. So I remember watching the movie a lot and comparing the movie to the album. And I actually, the movie, I didn't realize it was like a really big influence on me, because I made, recently I made this, this Hanukkah, like this rock and roll, like Hanukkah video that with with Ezra Miller and and a bunch of people from like the Walking Dead cast. And but if you watch the beginning of that, it's like the beginning of the movie Jesus Christ Superstar.
Nice.
Where they're on the bus and they're on the carriage. They all pour out, and it's like the theater troupe, you know. What happened? We lost her.
Lost Erin. She's in the woods, so her internet is a little intermittent.
She lives literally there. She is.
There she is.
There
So, anyway, it's been a big influence on me. Like seriously, it's in my head. Like anytime I have a meeting or something, and it's the beginning of the meeting, in my head, I'm always like, gentlemen. It's weird. And I had like a really I've had so many. Okay, I'll tell this story about. This is a fun story about how I got my first girlfriend in college, because I knew Jesus Christ Superstar head to toe. So we were freshmen, and we were in the theater at college, and it was this, me and my buddy Mark and these two girls, Emily, I forget who the other girl was, but I was like trying to, like, you know, we were trying to like date one of these girls, you know, and we were all hot boxing, just smoking pot like crazy. And then someone throws on Jesus Christ Superstar, and then we just start. It was just like basically a competition, like who knew it's the best, right? And we're suddenly it's like instant, you know, theater in this room. We're all, you know, reenacting Jesus Christ Superstar and playing different characters, and the place is just like filled with smoke, and we get a knock on the door.
Oh God!
And the door, it's at the part where it's just all, my temple should be a house of prayer, you know? And I swing the door open. I'm just baked out of my mind. And you have made an identical things. Yeah. As I swing the door open, and there's the RA standing there, who's like the, you know, like the I guess he's an older student. This big black guy, and he's just like a football player, just standing there, and he's like a senior or whatever, and he's the hall monitor, and he opens the door, and I'm like, oh shit. He's looking at me, and he goes, damn, you theater kids know how to party, man. And I go, yeah. He goes, I was like, were we being too loud? He's just like, no. The only reason I knocked on your door was because you put your fucking towel over the top of the door. And then like the guy ended up giving me tips about how to, like, you roll the towel, you put it at the bottom. He would like ended up smoking with the guy. So it was really, he became like a friend.
Oh, that's awesome.
A bonding thing with Jesus Christ Superstars. So thought I'd tell it.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Well,
and I got the girl.
Yeah. All right.
Well, cool. You know, let me throw in my story then. You know, one night, back in the 90s, I was at San Diego Comic-Con, and it was late at night at the Hyatt, as we are. Dan, you and I have been there together, you know, out and back at the Hyatt. It's the Saturday night thing that we do. Jimmy, we've all been there, right? Yep. And I remember, you know, it's just Comic-Con. And then like I was hanging out with some friends and this guy showed up that I didn't know. And I know everyone in comics, and he was in this white suit. And I don't know why, but somehow we started singing Jesus Christ Superstar. That's something I just do, I tend to. And like then he starts singing it too. And I'm like, is this my soulmate? And like, we're duetting a little. And then he just disappeared. He just slipped off into the night, and I never saw him again. But
maybe
then
it was Jesus. Oh
no,
my God.
it wasn't. No, actually, I know who it was. Like, I had a friend, and like, who was that guy? He's like, oh yeah, that's my friend Toby, and blah blah. Yeah, he's So you
That's
don't
my
want
friend Ted
Toby.
Neely. Nah,
Yeah, you don't like Toby. No, you don't want anything to do with Toby.
Toby, if you're listening, we apologize.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm
yeah,
sure you're a
but
fine gentleman, but
yeah, it definitely, late night superstar can be very, very attractive,
very fun.
Yeah.
very
Very fun.
alluring, very alluring.
Right on. Yes. Well, yes, for sure. It was for me. That's
I
for
think
sure.
I guess we've all had some kind of alluring superstar experience.
Yeah. I had a little showmance when I did it for sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
all right. We should talk the movie.
yes, we
Do
should.
it.
But yeah, it's 1973, directed by Norman Jewison, based on the stage rock musical of the same name, by Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice. Shot on location in Israel.
Ugh. By
My
Douglas Slocum, one of the greatest cinematographers of all time, by
Mhm.
the way.
Yeah.
That's why it looks so great.
Yeah, great cast. Most of the cast was from the Broadway production or tours. While Neely was in the original Jesus, it was, oh my God, I forgot something Fenton or Fent, something like that was the original on Broadway. Elliman was, and they found her. The story was they found Yvonne like singing in a jazz club or something like that. Like Tim Rice and Angela Lloyd Webber, like she's good, and then Neely had done like hair and some like, well, not like he wasn't like a hair person. He might have been, who knows? No, he did the musical hair, and he played Claude, I think, in both productions, and so he'd had some experience as well. And Anderson did the tour, because originally Ben Vereen was Judas on Broadway. Yeah, so they brought them all together and threw them in Israel and like, let's shoot a movie. And it was, I mean, the cinematography is amazing in this, I think too. It's just
And
obviously
I think
there,
I,
but
I think the movie is first off 70s. It's just like the fashions and
Oh yeah.
the hippiness of it,
Mhm.
And I think it, part of what the allure of Jesus Christ Superstar is that, it is this melding of classic Broadway and
yeah,
rock, and then this, countercultural. So the movie is trying to be countercultural,
Mhm.
as you could tell from what my background is, where they put in these anachronistic things like
No,
tanks
throughout, like there was
throughout, and
guns and bullets and like
yeah, and
postcards and the bizarre scene,
yeah,
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
and but the fashions and when they come out at the end, obviously with the disco element to it, and so all of that and surrounding the story of Jesus just gives it this added, there's something looking at Andrew Lloyd Webber's later career and Dan's experience with Phantom. He became more and more bombastic and innate, like insincerely corny. I think in Jesus Christ Superstar, he was trying to be a little corny or a little like ironic in a way that, as Jody Erin and I were saying, he was only 22,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
22,
amazing, right?
22.
Whoa. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
yeah.
I know. And, Tim Rice was in his early 20s also. I guess he was 25, 26
Mhm.
when he wrote this. So, I
So
mean,
old.
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
yeah,
What's the thing
but
with people for the religious types out there? It's like, and we talked about how anytime a production goes up, there's always some protests. I was
Always.
like it is first of all, it's theater, but it's told through the eyes of Judas, through the words of Tim Rice, and through the music of Andrew Lloyd Webber. It's not gospel. Calm down, people. So it's like it's a
Well,
story. It's
I
theater.
have to now show my little bit of show and tell because I have something to say on that. So
Yes.
I found my father-in-law's original double album.
Amazing.
Right there. So it comes with
Wow.
an entire booklet of lyrics.
Yeah.
And I found out that it cost a whopping $11.98, which everyone thought was crazy.
You could probably sell it now for hundreds.
I know, but inside, and I just found it today because I hadn't opened it because I just got it last year. He had 2 articles that he had cut out about people writing about the album and the show coming out. And this one is from the Oklahoma City Times, March 27th, 1971, saying Jesus Christ Superstar, controversial, but hot selling. and it's a whole article about that. Now, this is the one
Jesus
where
always
it's great.
is.
It is the Orthodox Baptist newsletter.
Oh, wow.
That Billy Graham put out.
Oh. Oh no! She froze.
April 1972.
Okay, there you go. Okay, there you are.
And okay, there I am. And it says at the bottom, as they're talking about their problems, and they're calling it blasphemous, and they're saying why they have a problem with the show. And they said, Andrew Lloyd Webber, who wrote the music, was asked by someone if the lyrics were negative about religion. Do you feel that the lyrics were negative about religion, Tim? Answer, no. In a way, it's neither positive nor negative. It's just asking questions. But I think less and less people are going to think of Christ as God. I don't see him or Christ as God. I don't see him as God at all. And they say very plainly, these men say that they do not believe that Jesus Christ is God. Blasphemy! And it has like a big... So that's the problem people have with the show, is that it puts Jesus as a man.
Right.
Mhm.
Make him,
So
they make him human. Yeah.
Their entire problem
Yeah.
with this piece of musical theater
But
is that it's that Jesus is man and not a God.
But apparently the Catholics were okay with it, because apparently Jewison talked to the Pope, like literally showed the film to Pope Paul the Sixth, and who apparently loved what he saw and told him he appreciated your beautiful rock opera film. I believe it will bring more people around the world to Christianity.
That reminds me of the scene from Hail Caesar that we talked about. Remember, where they showed the movie or the script to all the religious people, and there's like, I don't think a horse could do that. But yeah,
so true, so true.
So what do we think of the cast of the movie?
Incredible, my God!
I
It's
mean,
like there's not, like I said, we'll talk about some other versions. There's definitely some miscasting, but like it's pretty perfect casting. Like, I mean, when you think of Jesus, most people think of Ted Neely because he's 100, he's still doing it, and he's still doing the tours. I mean, there's never been a more iconic role than Carl Anderson in Judas.
He's
I mean, my God, Larry Marshall as Simon.
Simon is so good.
I mean, I said earlier off camera, I got to see Larry and Carl do that amazing, Dan, you may have seen this, they did Play On Broadway in 94, 95, that Duke Ellington musical, and they were in it together, and they were insanely ridiculous, of course, still just amazing. But it's an amazing, I think the cast is great. Like,
and I mean, let's talk a little bit about Yvonne Ellison. Oh my God.
Element.
I always see, I'm always wrong, and Jimmy corrects me, so thank God he's here.
That's what I'm here for.
Yvonne
it's in my Asian genes, we correct.
Yeah, but I mean, she's just she's so like, now she played the role more than anybody though. She was on the original cast on Broadway, the movie, London.
She was in the concept album.
And she also had time to have disco hits. I mean, she had a busy musical career as well. So
was it with the Bee Gees?
Yeah, I think it was.
She had some solo stuff.
It's like, if I can't, is it if I can't have you?
Yes.
If I can't have you,
yep.
I can't have nobody,
baby.
I know.
That song is still a hit.
I know, it's great.
Yeah, it's still a bop.
She's amazing. I mean, she's just, she's
like her scenes and like her songs, she nails the songs, but just like for someone who didn't really have much acting experience, she was incredible in this. I thought like just her scenes of anguish near the end of when Jesus gets captured and like singing "I Don't Know How to Love Him." They were doing. First of all, Jesus and Mary were doing it.
Jimmy,
I'm sorry.
No.
Sorry, Billy Graham, but they were.
Jesus and Mary were married. Let's be real.
Like
he's not a 33-year-old virgin. Sorry, Christians.
Oh boy.
Like.
Like she's very touchy feel with him. I mean, like I've got some.
Let me cool down your face a bit.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're not just cooling my face down. Just saying. But
they did change the lyrics. I think one of the original lyrics was a little more like, "Oh, it's going to be a good night tonight." Whoa. Jesus says something, and they, or like tonight, I'm cool tonight.
Yeah, they definitely changed that.
Yeah, they changed that. Yeah. So Dan, who's some of your favorites from the movie?
Well, I was. That's a good question. I watched the movie and I love the whole join the caravan productions kind of feel of it. Like I was saying, like it's they show up this theater troupe directly. It's like they just finished a show on Broadway. It's like they're still sweating, you know, and they're setting up with the cross and everything, and it's all symbolic. And they start doing the dance, and then all of a sudden, you know, there's Judas sitting on the watching,
always judging,
and then suddenly we're in it, and the costumes are a little more costumey, and then you get to that scene right at the beginning when the Romans are marching, and they all have the purple shirts.
Yeah.
And it's like it's such a theater troupe, but like they're committed, you know. And you're like, okay, I'm gonna jump on board with this, and and then it's the what's the buzz scene, and you see Jesus is just like he is a cinema actor, you know. He's just like so subtle, and everyone else around him is what's the buzz, right?
Correct.
And hands in the and then you know being someone from the theater. You go, yeah, I like what they're doing here. I like how it's like, here's a little, you know, it's like there's a little sugar with the medicine, you know. And it pulls you. I love just the theatrical nature of it, where you have these like really excellent performers, but you also have these real theater actors around them, which is I love that. I just love it, and you buy it. It gives it such great character. And I love I love Herod, because I was just like, I can play that part, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I like he's combing his hair, just
just having fun the whole time, laughing during whips, you know, whatever.
I thought, man, who else do I love? I think Judas, you know, at the end there, and the disco outfit is just.
I just got chills thinking about it.
I mean, I just gonna say, I think one of the great things about Jesus Christ Superstar is the recurring motives and themes, and that when they come back. I mean, when Judas sings, "I don't know how to love him," I'm crying now. You know, I mean, it's just so powerful. You know, it's the magic of theater, of course, but just like everything that it comes back when he comes back with these things. And then, then when he comes back in the show-stopping number, it's just, and such a great performance. Wow. It is.
I love going back to Dan said about the theater troupe. Like they make use of what's around them, and that's obviously on purpose, you know, with the way Norman Jewison shot it. But like the setting was just awesome. I love the look, like the columns. Like they didn't build that; that was there already, you know. Like, and then the little pipe scenes they put up for the priest was great. What a great, and like when Annas and Caiaphas come in, and first of all, genius of Lloyd Webber to have like a freaking high tenor and like a bass sing opposite each other, like that's so great. And Annas is like that little sniveling guy, like going back to Kung Fu month, that the Kung Fu master always had the right hand sniveling man next to him going like, yes master, yes, we can do this, you know. I love that.
Oh, and also by the way, their costumes, you know,
well, that's
like,
why I love
nobody's got a shirt on.
I have to give a little praise to how hot everybody is.
Oh my God!
Like the body yaddies going on.
They're so hot.
And that's Simon Zeller.
Hot Caiaphas.
Like all those deep V-necks, like all like down in the navel.
The little bondage issue going on there.
Well, I wonder if like the costumer for Star Wars saw this and was like, let's do like a little more dressed up version of the priest, because the priests look like they went out for Halloween as sexy Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Because they got the little like thing here, the little chest plate, and that's sexy Darth Vader. Check me out. So but just beautiful setting. I mean, they obviously made use of natural light and all this sort of stuff. It's just like, my God, it's just it's so stunning to look at.
And again, conceptually, it's really, I mean, it's really cool that they went to these real ruins and they didn't dress up the ruins. And, you know, shooting them in the ruins gives you, you know, it adds a lot of depth to the fact that this was a historical thing that happened, and these are the places that it happened in. And then the modern touches, you know, it's deep. There's a lot there's a lot going on. There's always something to look at and to think about. And one of the things that I love the most about the show is when the crowd is fickle, like they are.
Yeah.
And
They
when
turn on him,
when they turn on Jesus, and when they're interviewing him at the end, what do you think was your big mistake? And it's a parody.
The other night.
Yeah.
Start singing the whole thing now.
No, I know, it's so hard. And this was more than 50 years ago. This was long before The Onion, long before Twitter, long before this. And, people were very ironic and sarcastic always. They've always been. And it's fascinating to me to see that, this trope of, breaking the fourth wall and the play-by-play of Jesus's crucifixion was, it's still relevant today.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's the irreverent political bent of that, about like the supporters and, the interviewers and the press and the paparazzi and I would love to see a modern retelling of it in a political venue where, where you have Jesus Christ, running for president.
Nice.
And
Judas is like his chief of staff or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Judas is a speechwriter, and like Mary is like a Marilyn Monroe kind of character.
Yeah.
And
Dude,
so
you're
I've
onto
been
something.
thinking about this for a long time. Maybe he's black. And I think that there's something that lends itself already in the writing. You wouldn't have to change anything, and it would fit perfectly.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's great. Dude, nobody steal that. That's Dan's
yeah,
idea.
it really is.
Copyright.
Yeah.
It is really the narrative, though, about how how Jesus Christ Superstar, which was seen as sacrilegious, as Erin was saying, but now, especially now in this age, but I mean, it's been getting more and more and more how we see everything through the lens of reality TV and, like through TMZ and Twitter and Instagram and everything. And I mean, it's still absolutely, as Dan says, it's still absolutely relevant to how we treat celebrities and how we treat our leaders. And, it's.
I think they nailed it in the NBC Live one in that. Covering the paparazzi, 24-hour news cycle, like total rock star. I think they nailed it in that kind of bringing it home, like to our present.
I love Judas in that. Judas was amazing.
Oh,
yeah.
Talk about
Brandon Victor Dixon.
Dixon is such a talent.
He stole the show. I mean, Judas should always steal the show, and he definitely did.
Well, John Legend, right? Legend was.
Judas.
You know what? I thought he was fine, but I like. He was just like, boop. I like emotional Jesus.
Yeah, he was a little.
Not an actor. It's okay.
Sure.
Yeah, I liked him, but I didn't love him. Yeah, I agree.
But I think that's why Judas was just like, whoa, he's fucking Judas.
Yeah.
But when we talk about the problem of how come they're not treating him as a god? How come? I thought that was the whole purpose, that he was God and the embodiment of God as a man going through the trials and tribulations to show us, how precious life is. I mean, isn't that
right?
And he died for our sins. Like, how could he die if he wasn't mortal? And then he came back, which whatever the story is, which you have to have that mortal aspect to the story.
Yeah.
So I like it. On those lines, I like an emotional Jesus, man. Like Gethsemane, where he's like, please give me a reason that I have to die. Jeez, that's what Jesus Christ. That's a great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the biggest I want song. Yeah. Like, I want a reason. I want, like, you don't get bigger than that. The stakes aren't bigger than that song right there.
I mean, he literally says, show me there's a reason for you wanting me to die. Like, it's like,
I want to know.
Some of the, like, there's such great moments, and like obviously the music is incredible. We're all listening to that, but like, if there's so many great moments between like Ted Neely and Carl Anderson in this. The very early on when they're having a little dispute in the little cave. There's that great moment, like Judas is just like, he's just like, I'm not mad at you, dude. Just listen, like, look what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have that moment where they lock eyes, they lock hands, and it's just beautiful. And then they slowly separate hands. And Judas is like, you almost had me again, but I got to keep you in check. And just always watching from afar, always, like, hey man, this maybe not be great. But to watch the way Ted Neely plays is like, no, I'm doing this for, like Reese and Stan said, I'm doing this because I'm God and I want to show people this is what it's like to, it's just some really great moments throughout the whole thing.
The thing that struck me about the first time I saw the movie and Ted Neely is that he looks exactly like the Jesus picture that was in my grandma's house.
Yeah.
Like 100% the blonde hair, blue-eyed white Jesus that every grandma had on her wall. I was like, oh my God, it's Jesus. Like,
he can sing. It's Jesus and he can sing. And he's a rocker. Jesus is a rocker.
God. I mean, that voice.
Oh, yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
Insane.
Because Jimmy and I were talking about this like off, like we were like texting the other night, and because he was going down the rabbit hole, listening to everyone possible like do things on YouTube, and I was like, as a singer, when I see like rock, musicians, my first thought is, oh my God, how do they do this 8 shows a week? Like without ripping their chords to shreds, and the amount of training and talent to do that and not kill yourself where you never work again that's the whole other side of their talent in order to wail like that as much as they do and as healthily as they do. Like the fact that he's still doing it, that is a testament to his talent and his, that's insane.
I mean, his vocals aren't as strong as he used to be, but he's still doing it. So he can still wail.
I mean, there's a lot of people.
Well, he's well
like
into his. Yeah, he's like in the 70s, and I mean, like just getting out and hobbling around, we got to give him some credit for.
But so many amazing voices.
Well, and I mean, I will say, as you mentioned, Jimmy, like in the John Legend version, like I think some people got a little ripped out by the rehearsals there.
That was what I said to Jimmy. I said, as soon as I saw people mess up, I went, oh, I know what happened. They got the adrenaline.
Pilot lost
the adrenaline and blew it out because they had the live dress rehearsal with a full audience in that warehouse in Brooklyn, and they got super pumped and they blew it out. And it happened.
Yeah, except for the theater people, except for Brandon Victor Dixon. Except for the people who actually had theater background. Those are the ones like Jason Tam and those guys.
Because they know how to market. They know how
those guys we know how to market.
Pull it back just a little bit to save yourself.
That's the thing. Like that production. It was pretty well cast. I didn't like Pilot, but also a lot of it had to do with he lost his voice. But I didn't. And the guy that played Simon he's like some Swedish rocker. He sounded great, but the dude was terrible. Like you watch every background scene he's in. He's not an actor. He's the one like damn. So he's like.
Yeah, he's totally,
he's so like.
Well, his name is Zealots. So.
I know.
I swear to God, watching that, I counted where they just told him to do an 8 count of headbanging. It was just like. They're gonna dance and you just bang out for 8 counts and then come back in and sing. Like,
but going back to the movie, the Simon Zealots, of course, is Larry Marshall. Who, that scene is nuts. Like he is a zealot. He look at like the way he plays it, the way his eyes are. Like he's like, oh my God, Jesus, I love you, and they're all like around him, and just the incredible flourishes he does with his voice, and like, oh my God, he kills it. And like I love like just Ted Neely, Jesus. There, he's like. Guys, this is cool, but
okay, Simon.
Calm it down, Simon. I know it's in your name, Zealots, but
I know this is crazy, but like Dan said, he could play Herod, but we all have our dream role of Jesus Christ. Of course, who wouldn't want it? That would be my dream role. I would want to be Simon Zealots, which they could do gender swap on that role. And I think
hear about that later when I recast it. But yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I think that would be a perfect role to gender swap, actually.
But here's
the women's roles are not. I'm no Mary. I'm sorry. I am no.
Yeah, I know my voice. I I couldn't play Jesus or Judas. I could the part I was up for when I understudied. I in the show I did Peter. I could play Peter fine. But the thing is about like I love that when people do that dream casting. It's just fun to do with your friends. Hey, I'd love to play this part.
Right?
Anytime something that happens, I go, well, unless you're ready to work your whole life of dance class, voice class, acting class, 10 auditions a week, 100 auditions, you get one callback, going through the grind as most of us did.
Yeah.
You can't ever play it, kid. Sorry.
No.
Get back
Good
to
luck,
rehearsal.
kiddo.
Good dream, but you got to work for it. See,
Yeah.
that kills you every time something popular comes out. Like I could play. No, you couldn't.
Yeah.
No, you couldn't.
Well, yeah, I know we're jumping around so much, but I
Yeah.
will say in the most recent John Legend version, Alice Cooper did nail it.
Yeah, he was
nailed
great.
it. Yeah,
Cooper was great.
He was a lot of fun.
Totally agree. Yeah,
and
totally agree.
he was also theatrical. I mean,
Yes.
Alice Cooper is
Well,
right.
his shows are yeah, of
Yes,
course.
I
Yeah.
mean he's a theater person, whereas John Legend is a crooner, and he he did fine. We all liked John Legend. He was very likable and sad. I was sad with what happened to him.
Yes, I thought he was
Yeah. But he did not. But yes, Alice Cooper is bigger than life. Like you have to.
Did you notice in the film, and I noticed it immediately when I remember seeing the film years later after doing the show, that there are several line changes throughout it. Did you notice that throughout? There's certain ones like in the leper scene in the movie, he says, "Leave me alone." In the play, it's "Heal yourselves." I think it's so much more powerful. It's "Heal yourselves," instead of like "leave me alone." Seems a little like, why would Jesus?
That's rude.
Leave me alone?
Did you
I know,
notice there's
yeah.
the Gethsemane line is changed when they says, "God, thy will is hard, and you hold every card," which is one of my favorite lines to sing in the song in my karaoke version, and they changed it to I don't remember what they changed it to, but it's very much blander. It's much blander. It's more like God, you're really powerful. I don't know. It's not like I think the reference to the cards was a little frivolous for nowadays, I guess. So I don't know. But
yeah, they added the pre-scene, the Then We Are Decided wasn't originally in the stage production. They had added later on in the stage production something was like maybe in Peter and Mary's song, which they added in the movie. But yeah, there's little line changes here and there.
Oh yeah.
Not like huge ones, but little ones. Like I thought the "Heal Yourselves" one was pretty big. Like that was like "Leave me alone" just never sat well with me. I'm like, why would Jesus say leave? I mean, it's a beautifully shot scene where they're like the lepers are like just not overpowering him, but just like overwhelming him, and he's like, "There's too many of you. Leave me alone." I'm like, "Heal yourselves" has such a great like message to it too. It's like, oh, what a great line. But yeah. But yeah, they're that leper scene, it's so great, man.
So
it's like
let's talk a little bit about so I saw the 2000 revival on Broadway. Now Andrew Lloyd Webber, by the way, hated the musical, the original,
the movie,
and he hated both. He didn't like either.
Really?
Wait, what?
Yeah. Well, no,
I know he didn't like the movie.
Yeah, he didn't like the movie, and for some reason, I guess he turned his back on the musical or something because he was a kid. He was 26 years old. Jesus, and but yeah, he hated the movie because he thought it was vulgar or too much, and like, okay, get over yourself, kid.
I'm starting to question his taste now.
Yeah.
Well, he liked his Phantom of the Opera movie, and that was
with Gerard Butler as Phantom.
What did he say about cats?
Hot garbage.
Yeah, right.
And I own it. I'll still watch it, but it's still hot garbage. But yeah, oh God.
I own it. I love it.
Yeah, but he did like the 2018 version, the John Legend version. He finally felt that it was captured, his version.
Well, he also apparently claims the 2000 version based on that horrible Broadway one. Well, originally in the UK, they shot a sort of made for video 2001. He said that's the one I prefer. That's more in my vision, which is terrible.
Now I saw that one, and it is transferred to Studio 54, so it's kind of like this disco version.
That's when I second acted it.
Okay.
On that, because I used to work at 54 during Cabaret.
Oh.
And so all my friends still worked there, so I would be able to like go in and gather around, children. They used to do a second act sneak in. That's not allowed anymore in theater that we used to get away with.
Yep. I second acted a few shows. Yep.
Don't know what a second act is
Yeah.
of like sneaking into the theater and just seeing one part of the show. And I remember hating it.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And all my friends that worked at Studio 54, they were like, because after working at Cabaret for years, they're like, this is the worst time I've ever had working at this place.
It wasn't well directed. Like the cast, questionable.
So you
casting.
didn't like Tony Vincent as Judas?
Oh, sorry. I'm sure he's a pleasant fellow. He's got a great voice. He was not a good Judas.
Yeah, it was
Not a
a
good
little. It was like a little 2000. I mean, it's kind of like, what
People
even?
were- Ugh.
Even Glenn, what's his name, as Jesus, I didn't like. Cause like, here's my thing with Jesus, you have to scream those notes. You can't go into your head voice. You can't like that. To me, that doesn't make sense. You can't be legit like where you can't be like, why should I die? No, you can't. It's got to be wow. You got to like scream it, and it's like, and he would just he had again beautiful singer, but
No, but
just not right. Like I saw videos of like Michael Crawford and Michael Ball singing, and I'm like, no, no, guys. And they're like, why should I die? Oh,
I know.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
no, doesn't work.
I won't even look that up on YouTube. It's gonna
No,
ruin my day.
I saved
I'm
you
not
from
gonna do it.
I took the bullet for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh God, no.
So that's what bugged me about this production. Like they just
Well, people were blowing their voices out in that production. They were
Yeah.
like, it was constantly being replaced. They were always had understudies on. It was
Oh, really? Wow.
constantly.
Yeah.
Constant. It's 8 shows a week, screaming your face off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you, Dan?
People do
Have
that.
you seen it? Did you see that version, or have you seen it on stage?
I saw.
It's gonna suck if he says, "Oh, I was in that one." Sorry, Dan.
Yeah. Sorry, man. Sorry, man.
I was Judas. Thank you.
Oh, I'm
very
sorry. Oh, that's it. He used to be known as Tony Vincent. I'm sorry.
My mind is clearer now.
Shit, man. I saw the only live version that I've ever seen of it. I saw a high school version, which was like horrendous.
Oh my God.
I saw a version in London when I was like 15, and
When was that? Was that the one that transferred to
90s.
Broadway?
in the
Yeah,
90s.
because that might have been the one that transferred to Broadway. That was not great.
Was it like
Yeah.
kind of just everybody was like in a disco sort of thing?
Yeah, I wasn't. No, it seemed like a pretty standard. I mean, it was the only version I had saw, but I remember it just being kind of just stark, and it was just like a big piece of art, and I was so far away from it, where it's such a visceral thing. You know, I just wanted to be so much more up close. And I remember, and I was just a kid, so I remember just like not being engaged with the visuals, but like closing my eyes and just being like, oh yeah, it sounds great. It sounds
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
for sure.
remember the thing that really stuck with me was the crucifixion. I was just like, I was just like horrified. I was
Yeah.
like, it was so surreal and
Yeah.
dark. I was like, whoa. I wasn't prepared for that.
Yeah, welcome to Christian torture imagery, Dan.
Well, the movie does a really great thing too, which is really haunting. It's like as he's happy, they play that subtle little nailing in the back of your
Yeah.
You're like,
yeah.
oh my God. Oh. But I think we should definitely, obviously, the big song of the show, Gethsemane, is Jesus' big hit, top 10. And it's like after the whole Last Supper, which I love. Okay, this
So you were in the
first.
Last Supper scene when you
Yes.
played. So you were Peter. You were
so
you
in the
were-
Last Supper scene, I'm curious about this. I don't know the answer, and every production does it. You know, at the end of when they come out, look at all my trials and tribulations, and then they
Yeah.
stop and they do the Da Vinci painting pose.
Yes.
Did that start in the movie, or was that from the stage production? That I don't know.
I think I read that it started in the movie.
Okay, because
That's what I
we
read.
did it. Everybody, we all like, make
I
sure.
think,
we
and then
pose,
it's
whatever.
become like set in stone of like,
Okay.
yes, let's do the pose for a minute
Okay.
and then move on. Yeah.
We had a great quick side little story for when I did it. So the apostles would enter, because that's the top act too, Last Supper. We would enter from, and this was like an 1,100 seat house. It was a Broadway sized theater we did it in.
Yeah.
And we would enter from the audience. And there's these little stairs on either side, and the stage left, apostle stage right, and Jesus is already up there by himself, doing his whatever. And we're coming on look at all our trials and tribulations. And as we're walking, I notice my line starts curving to the left. I'm like, the fuck are they going?
Lemming.
Well, the staff forgot to put the steps back. So we're trying to so at one point we're at the stage door,
Oh,
our
my
gentle
favorite.
bottle of wine, like banging on the door. To one point, because it's a dinner theater, so there's tables with chairs in the
Oh
front.
God.
So
Right.
an audience member takes their chair and hands it to us, and we use it. And we're just
Step
like,
up.
"Thank you." Step up onto the scene,
Oh,
crying.
fantastic.
The apostles that are already on stage are dying. Poor Jesus. This whole day of production was that day was not great because of the snafus that happened. So we get on stage, we get okay, we're here, we got it. Get the laughers out, we're fine. We did the pose, we got it out. So then we do the thing where Jesus is sort of like washing our feet. Well, the props forgot to put the little rag in the bucket. So he was smart though. Like John was like, "I'll use my robe. Use the robe to wash our feet." Great.
Yeah.
Because Judas comes in. "You sad pathetic man! Look what you brought us to." He's supposed to grab the rag and throw it at Jesus. He sees there's no rag. He doesn't know what to do, so he literally does. He goes, "You sad pathetic man! Look what you brought us." I'm like, "Oh my God, Judas is gonna bitch slap Jesus." Holy shit! Like he raised his hand. I was next to him. I grabbed him instinctively. I was like, "What the fuck?" It was like Jesus recoiled in fear. He was like, like we all were like, that adds whole new
That's
meaning.
a whole new
scene.
show.
Holy
Whole new
Wow.
angry.
Anyway. Sorry to derail.
That's
Why are
funny.
you obsessed with fighting?
Exactly. Like, gee, look who's talking.
Yeah. By the way, also the apostles, like everybody's turning against Jesus. And I love the fact that they're these whiny, these whiny hangers on in this scene.
Yeah.
It's like,
Hey,
oh,
cool it,
wait,
man.
look at all my trial.
Yeah.
Look at, oh, man, it's rough being an apostle.
Like,
And
he turns water into wine for us. Damn it.
I like that bit where they're all like waking up groggy. They're all, "What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening? What?"
Yeah.
And Jesus is already being pulled away.
Yeah.
And
What's happening? My coffee, guys. Yeah, totally. But Gethsemane. We'll get back to that. Sorry, I got derailed there. But that song is like insanely incredible, and like it's a 5-minute long song. How long is it? It's like so, and just
I
the
can look it
notes he
up.
hits. Like the arrangement is amazing. Of course, I think they let him take some flourishes, and that's become sort of the standard. But like when he hits that fucking Y, you're just like, what the fuck? And I don't know, what is that note, Erin? Do you know the Y? It's like a
I don't.
Q.
I should know that.
It's like
but I don't.
it's got to be up there.
I
It's
was
like
gonna look up. Gethsemane is 5 minutes and 33 seconds.
Jesus.
It's long.
That's what it says on the
It's
album.
It's long.
But do you know that note he hits? What the hit is, Dan, or anything like that? Where he's why should I?
Why
It's so high.
should
Yeah, it's so high. And then I think it's even
Yeah.
a step higher when he gets to all right, all done. That's like, you're not human. What are you talking about? And just watching him where he just does the wow, it's like
So someone
Oh,
put a compilation of that on. Someone put it on YouTube where they
Oh,
did
yeah, I've
all
seen
these
it.
actors just doing the
I watched it. Yeah.
and their
mhm.
arms fly open and they
Yeah.
hit it or they don't. And
Yes.
it's fantastic.
It's great. But it's such, I mean, like, and Neely's so great in that because he shows like anger in the song, which he's like, he's
Mhm.
pissed. He's like, dude, come on, I'm doing all this stuff for you. Give me a little reason. But he gets really subtle at the end and almost sad. But God, that song, he's so good. That song is so iconic.
Yeah.
And there's
It
been
is.
so many, like
I'm gonna
she
look
said,
it up.
so many versions. And they did rearrange it around the 90s. There was it might have been the production you saw, Dan. I don't know. There's a 92 production in England, and Steve Balsamo played Jesus. And he's amazing. That dude can wail. So when they get to the part in the movie where it's all right, all done, it's still rocking. In this version, it's been like that since, I think. They slow down the orchestration. All of a sudden, so he started to, instead of like, all right, he's like, all right, I'll die. Just watch me die. See how I die. See how I die. Then he holds the note for like an hour. It's like, Jesus Christ, Jesus. So look that up. Watch Balsamo doing that. It's insane. So, but most productions since then, I think, have changed it to that orchestration, which I thought was really interesting.
Mhm.
But I would not be killed in vain.
Yeah. So good.
Well, I mean, like I mentioned, I do this song in karaoke, And I mean, I've been
Oh.
doing it for years. And
My question is,
I'm very impressed.
why? Well, I hope you guys get to see me do it sometime. That would be like, I know Jimmy doesn't do karaoke, but when we can all be in person again.
I get paid. You guys have to pay.
I
to
know
hear
you
this.
guys.
Oh.
Well, we'll go and we'll have. Let's actually hang out. You know, Dan, you and I. You had the karaoke birthday party. That was awesome. I got up there. I think I did the Eye of the Tiger with a live band.
Nice.
But you know, it's you know, one of the most popular karaoke songs, of course, is Bohemian Rhapsody,
Yes,
which
of
is
course.
just as long. And you know, it has all these parts, and you know, that's why people like doing it. And you know, I mean, I think Gethsemane to me has like, it's an incredibly emotional song. It has, you know, show me all the workings of your impenetrable brain. I mean, all this stuff.
Omnipresent brain.
Yeah, the omnipresent brain. And but it has all those parts, you know, where you're like, you know, because I'm a crooner, in case you couldn't tell, you know, so I like, you know, I only came to say, and then the end, I want to know, you know, it's just so much to do these different parts, and then you get to scream, and you get to have again that return when he comes
I would
back.
like to hear a crooning of Gethsemane. Actually, I like.
That's what I'm saying. You're gonna hear me.
You're
gonna hear it. You're gonna hear it. You're gonna hear it someday.
Is a way.
That's it. That's Heidi. That's
awesome.
Heidi.
Let's go hit a piano bar in the city once we're allowed to be among the peoples again.
Yeah, for
let's
sure.
Let's go hit Mamas or
don't tell Mamas. Yeah, we'll get there.
Or the duplex.
Right.
And let's go belt it out.
But what's also great during the song is that like when it gets to the orchestration part, the instrumental part, they start flashing scenes of Jesus on the cross. You're just like, oh my God, it's
little
brutal.
classic
It's a
art.
great touch, but brutal. You're like, holy crap, here's what's coming. We all know it, but so good.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, as we mentioned, John Legend struggled a bit.
Yeah. Well, it's not his, I mean,
it's not his range.
I kind of wish he went for it, which again, he probably, you know, he's a trained singer. He knows how to sing, but like, I just feel like he should have kept it down the octave, or like, just, you know, not even try. Cause I've seen some other people do that where like, I'm not even going to attempt this. That's better than trying to attempt it. I think is like, let me just take it down, you know,
because he definitely brought something totally different.
Sure.
Because, you know,
yeah.
When we're, you know, listening to this movie or these, you know, different cast albums, we're used to rock star Jesus.
Yeah.
Like waily, like
yeah, you gotta be. Yeah.
Like you just have So he brought something totally different.
Yeah.
And you're right. I wish maybe he hadn't have gone for it.
Yeah.
Because when it
It's
happened,
like,
I went, like
it's like it,
I just wanted that like yelly,
I know,
like, belty,
even
like, in your face.
He has a beautiful falsetto. I would have taken
yes.
that.
Yes.
But he just didn't hit it. But like 90, well, it actually reminds me like when Toni Braxton was in Beauty and the Beast. They load the entire score for her. You know, come on. You know, it's like just get lower it for John a little.
I have friends that were in that production and friend that co-directed that production. I have stories. It's hilarious.
Oh, I love that show, and I didn't get to see her, and I wish they would release a recording, but they
sorry if she's listening to this, Miss Toni Braxton. I saw you in concert. You're fabulous. But to have all of a sudden hear Belle go, there goes the baker. Like
but also just a lower register of home is
like,
a little different.
It's a totally different story of like, there goes the baker instead of there goes the baker.
Yeah.
Like it's a totally different part.
Like I love her voice, but it's so low for sure.
I mean, I'm a bass too, but I was like, no, I can't. I can't get behind it.
For sure. But yeah, it's there's another production in '96 that BBC Radio 2 did. It was like an audio radio concert. Roger Daltrey was Judas.
Oh, nice.
Tony Hadley, who the lead singer of Spandau Ballet,
was
Jesus. And not bad. Like he didn't scream again. He didn't go for the scream notes. He
like,
sang it how he sung it.
Yeah.
And he was all right. It was all right. And they had Francis Ruffelle, who of course the original Eponine was Mary. It's on YouTube. You can check it. It's not bad. Daltrey actually wasn't the best.
What year is the Tim Minchin one? Because I remember
that's 20. So they did one in the UK. They did a concert arena tour in the UK with Tim Minchin as Judas.
Mm-hmm.
That was 2012. Ben Forster as Jesus, and Mel C of the Spice Girls. You know, the only one that can actually sing in the Spice Girls, Mel C, Sporty Spice, as Mary. She's fantastic.
This is the production I remember. I never
Tim
saw.
Tim is good.
But,
I didn't love Ben as Jesus, Ben Forster, but Tim was pretty good, and I thought Mel C was great. It wasn't a great production overall, but it was kind of fun. yeah, there's all sorts of,
But it's funny. That's how I knew who Tim Minchin was when he
Oh,
started.
really?
Well, when he started showing up on American television, shows like
Oh.
Californication and other things, I was like, oh, that's the guy from Jesus Christ Superstar.
Oh, see, I'm an old school. I'm a
Yeah.
Tim Minchin hipster.
I
know
just
that
want
guy.
to I just want to mention, Dan, you're coming to us from the UK. I know it's pretty late there, and we've gone
It's like
on
5 hours ahead.
far past where we were. We're
We're
just
about an hour in, a little
so
over
if
an
you
hour.
need to bounce, just let us know. So, but if you're into the, we have a little more to go on here.
We have another. Yeah, we'll probably go for another 20.
Yeah.
We'll see. But,
Oh,
Why should you want to know? Don't you mind about the future?
Nice. I think that answers it. Great. He's hanging.
yeah,
Also.
great.
So Dan, I think Jesus Christ Superstar might be to you what the Lord of the Rings is to me also, because like I can pretty much quote, like anytime somebody has something, I have Lord of the Rings memorized. That's my other
Right.
story. And I just bring out a quote, like, well, only Aragorn knew what the flower meant to him, and like,
And she
the
speaks
field-
Elvish too.
and I speak Elvish, I do. So, but yeah, so your ability to quote Jesus Christ Superstar
Pretty great.
is pretty great. Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
great.
Cut out the dramatics, you know very well.
Oh
Hurry the
man.
waiting.
So I'm just
Why don't you go do it?
We're just gonna sing the whole show, guys. Right, here we
okay.
go.
Dan, I gotta say, if like I say, dream recastings, and Jimmy is going to do his recasting. That's
I'll do
one
it in
of
a bit. Yeah, I'll do it in
the
a bit.
things that we do here. But man, if they don't someday do a Jesus Christ Superstar with you as Herod,
Well, I want to see that his version with the presidential.
yeah, if
Yeah.
I mean, listen, people, I know
I'll happily
Dan's
play Peter in
busy.
production. It's fine.
Yeah, but I know Dan's busy making movies and TV, and he's too busy for the stage. But maybe a concert. If they ever do another concert version.
Oh, I'd love that.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's do it. Speaking of Herod, what a great number in the movie. Like the guy that played him was just like clearly he had the most fun the entire time.
Oh,
Of course, Josh Mostel, son
He
of
is great.
Zero.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
yeah,
so
definitely looks like Zero for sure.
and he had theater in his blood, and
I mean, they call that the princess track, right? Like he does nothing the whole show.
Yes.
He shows up and he gets to just flaunt it and do it and leave.
Yeah,
Like that's
he does
it.
come back later during the whip scene where he's just like
But that's
laughing the whole
it.
time. He's like, I get whipped.
You could finish a whole book backstage waiting for your part. Like it's incredible.
Yeah.
And then you just display it and be hilarious.
I think it's also just part of the daring nature of it that, and as a kid, as an actual kid, when I first encountered it, and it kind of goes into this honky tonk, much more traditional Broadway kind of show tune. I'm like, what's happening? What's going on now? Yeah, the Jews.
So good. Such a fun number, and like, and in near the second act, Jesus just has a lot of reacting. He's just everyone's singing at him. He's just kind of like, well, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna die for you guys, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah.
But it's great because we do get that great Herod number. Then we get a couple good, Pilate numbers. And I gotta say, like when we get like Pilate's dream is great, of course. And then when we get to Pilate just confronting him and just like, dude, I'm trying to give you an out here.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not giving me anything, and it's great. It's like, well, I guess the crowd's going crazy. I gotta flog you. And we have a whole song that's basically a countdown, and we love it. And we're like anxious all the time. We're watching him again, like it counts to 39, which takes however long that takes, a few minutes. And it seems mundane, but it's like, it's so fascinating because you're watching Pilate's reaction. Like, I don't want to count this high. You're clearly not. And then as it gets near the 30s, you see the crowd like, oh, maybe we shouldn't have. And Mary's anguish. You're like, but then Herod's like, the whole time cracking up. But it's like, oh, what a incredible scene. I think that is. And Neely just playing it like trying to play it stoic, but clearly, in the character in pain. But it's like, ooh.
Well, that moment where he calls him King of the Jews, and he says, "That's your name for me."
That's what you say.
That's what you say. Sorry, that's what you say.
Yeah. I mean, we gotta, Jesus he's not checked out, but he's accepted his fate.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. And then that's when Judas is like, well, I guess I got to betray him. And like, it's written, and he goes to the priest, and here's another line change where they go, he's like, where Caiaphas goes, "What you've done has been the saving of everyone." In the play, it's the saving of Israel.
Right. Right.
So I'm not. Maybe I don't know because they shot there. Maybe they couldn't feel like they could. I don't
I
know.
think they wanted to take out because the other controversy about Jesus Christ Superstar, besides that it was sacrilegious, was that it was anti-Semitic by bringing back the tropes of that the Jews were responsible for Jesus's death. So they did. They took out some lines that referenced
right
Israel and the Jews, although they left in a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
So
my brain goes to, for them to do that, had to be possibly to get permission to film in Israel.
Yeah, you're probably
in order to get all the stuff, they were like, okay, in order to kind of cover and say, you're right, we'll take that out and make sure that that's all.
Yeah. But man, that Judas to the blood bunny scene and like, oh God, and like his death.
You could hear it just dingling, like the dingling. Oh,
his death is still so powerful and heartbreaking and wrenching. You're like, oh my God, where he literally hangs himself. You're watching this and like, that's something I'm glad in the recent production they didn't show.
Yes.
They full on show it here.
Yeah,
like,
it's you could not do that today, obviously, with the, I mean, again, the casting of Jesus Christ Superstar on stage was Jesus was white. And Judas was black. And, this was a statement at the time. And obviously great performances by originally Brent Vereen and Carl Anderson. But, it's kind of continued down through the ages. Like it's pretty common for there to be a African-American Judas.
Yeah.
Except for Tony Vincent, the white Judas. Bad white Judas. All right, you've convinced me, Jimmy. He's a bad Judas. Sorry, Tony. Sorry, man. Bad Judas. And obviously with the most recent one where you have a super, now Jesus is also black. So
and that whole cast was so multicultural. It was
that's probably the most diverse. That's the props I give to that 2019 or 18 one. It was like it was a pretty diverse cast. 3 black leads, legend Brandon Victor Dixon, the great Norm Lewis, 2 Asian leads, Jason Tam and Jin Ha, and it's like excellent. I'm in, man. Right on. They could have went a little further, but all right. it was pretty good, I gotta say.
Yeah, and also let's just talk about all the great Caiaphases. I mean, it's such I love, that was the other thing about listening to it, when this bass comes in and will the rabble please
I could not
quiet?
get that low.
We anticipate a riot. I love that line.
It's so low.
It's so low.
And then honest, what do we think about this Jesus radio? I love it. The contradiction is
I love the tenor part. I love it.
Great. I love both of them. But and that's got to be a hard role to sing too.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, I'm sorry, Jimmy, you must know who's the guy who played it in the 2018 one.
Norm Lewis.
Oh, Norm Lewis.
Yeah, I mean he's
my boy
legend.
Norm.
Yeah, he doesn't even sing that low. He struggles.
He's
an incredible singer. That dude.
Yeah.
But that shit is low.
Yeah, low. I mean it's pretty impossible to go that low, really. So
you'd be surprised, but yeah, it is. But okay, so we're at the end of the movie. We get to the end. We get the beautiful superstar. Judas is back, and it's great, like just a big '70s number with backup singers, you know, and like so great. Oh
yeah. It's just such a
great.
It's just such a
wrong. I love
just
it.
Emotional.
Don't get me wrong now.
Yeah, love it. Aaron, take it away.
Yeah, it's
just a decade as a backup singer. I'm retired.
Yeah,
there you go.
It really is just it's just such a, like I said, it's a great return, and just emotionally after the depression and Dan was saying, the horror of crucifixion. Of the torture of Jesus, and just to get this number, and it is again the reference to celebrity, Jesus Christ Superstar, like this is what fame is, and it really does
kills you quick. Yes, famous fleeting. Yep.
Do you think you're what they say you are?
Yeah.
Are you?
I mean, I do.
What's that line where he says if you'd done it today, you could have been so much bigger. It's like,
right?
Israel in 4 BC has no mass
communication. So good. And the ending has a couple of very interesting moments, because going back to what Dan talked about, like the movie opens with this theater troupe in a bus, and they put on costumes. So at the end, the theater troupe, okay, we've done the show. Let's go back. But do you notice in the beginning, we never see Ted Neely get off the bus. He just
Nope.
appears. We
Right.
never see him get back on it because
Right.
he's dead. It's like,
Right.
what did you guys? You went to the theater. So basically the whole movie is this theater troupe hated Ted Neely so much they took him to the desert and killed him. That's what happened. That's what happened. So I
Inner
thought that
people
was
are tough,
interesting.
y'all.
Yeah, I think it was, but also, do you notice at the very last shot, there's that beautiful sunset going on, and you see a shepherd walk across.
Yes.
Now that wasn't planned. Now in the commentary,
Oh,
Really?
Ed Neely and Norman Jewison said the shepherd walking across the frame in the final shot of the film was never intended to be there,
Oh my God.
and just happened across the shot as they were filming.
Stop it.
Because of the significance of a shepherd in the teachings of Christ,
Oh my
Jewish
God.
and the crew were so profoundly struck by it, the timing of it, and they
I
just kept
had
it
no
in.
idea.
I had no idea either.
Yeah, I didn't either until like recently. I looked down, I was like, holy shit. I've never seen like, oh, that makes sense. That's like a shepherd ago. Just timing wise. Like that didn't, it
Yeah.
wasn't in the script. They hadn't even thought about it. They were just gonna end on a sunset. And I was like, there's a guy in the shot. No, keep going, keep going. You know, it's like,
Yeah, well, they
That's incredible.
holy shit.
didn't have that many great perfect sunsets to shoot, you know? I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like they could just stay camped out until they got the perfect sunset. You
Absolutely.
know, I love stories that open and then they have you know, that like Dan is saying, just like the imagination of it, like they've come here and then the story unfolds and then they return. And of
Mhm.
course, they are changed by it. And, you
Yeah.
know, as everybody, like, I like seeing everybody get onto the bus, you know, we see Herod,
Yeah.
everybody, you know, and some of the, you know, Pilate gives a sad look at the hill and you know, they look back and it's great. And it gave me, I was watching and I started crying, you know. I just started crying over the beauty and you know the music at that point, you know, the return to Gethsemane is just just always it always makes me bawl.
You
And
know what? You know what I want to say? During this lockdown, it's so funny that you guys wanted to do this during the first. What are we on lockdown number 12?
Yeah.
first-
Yeah. Exactly.
The first lockdown, there was a lot of time where, I got the movie got postponed, so I had a lot of fucking time on my hand. So there was a lot of me, kind of like just keeping myself occupied. And one of the things that I pulled out of nowhere was like, let me get back into Jesus Christ Superstar again.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's just it's like just randomly, and because it's the kind of thing where I was like, oh, I can just sing this, just like kill a couple hours just singing through this, and so I just think that it's such a synchronistic thing that it's just like, hey, let's
Nice.
talk about Jesus Christ Superstar.
Excellent.
Well,
Yeah.
I think, I find movie musicals therapeutic for me. And when this lockdown started happening, that's the first thing I did was dive back into things that made me feel comfy and cozy, like movie musicals, to revisit, like maybe things I loved from when I was a kid or something I hadn't seen in a long time. And I started posting every day a movie musical of the day.
Yeah, that was great.
Scour the internet for all the free, probably illegal links I could find and post one every day. And then stuff started getting really dark. And then we had, more terrible tragedy. And I was like, okay, Black Lives Matter. And I was like, all right, the happy part of all this is over. And, we got to pay attention. But I think I had posted about 60.
Jesus.
Maybe?
Yeah, that's awesome.
And the thing is I would get private messages from people because you didn't realize that everyone was kind of in their own place, right? Within the whole quarantine, and people were revisiting, and it was helping because I think it's therapeutic for us to revisit these things that kind of hit us on the inside, and we don't quite know how. And especially as adults, to revisit things, I think it hits us in different places than it did when we first fell in love with it.
Yeah, for sure.
Not to get deep about it.
No.
But I mean, Dan, you're right. Like Jimmy and I started this just because he said he hadn't seen The Evil Dead. And I was like,
so I finally watched them all three. And we're like, let's talk about it.
So I was like, well, then let's do a podcast about you, and you can react to because I've seen it a billion times because I'm the world's biggest Bruce Campbell fan. So, and then we were like, yeah, it's lockdown. We got nothing else to do. Let's just do this every week and talk about shit. And
Yeah.
so we did. Last month we did. I'm like, this is going to be a rough winter. So for January we wanted to do. We wanted to start the year with peppy things that would get us through it. And so last month we did kung fu movies, and which was amazing. We learned so much. We had so many great guests on there, and to learn so much about it. And now we're doing musicals because obviously we all love musicals, and Erin's going to
Yeah,
be
we could
with
do
us.
musicals a year
Yeah,
if we
yeah, we
had
could
to.
Well, we
actually.
did. I joined you on a bunch over Christmas because there was a lot of Christmas.
We did White Christmas,
White
yeah,
Christmas,
for sure. Yeah.
and although It's a Wonderful Life isn't, but but yeah, it was nice. That's why I was like, okay, yeah, let's do this. I want more musicals.
Yeah.
Tell me,
Yeah.
hire me.
Yeah.
Well, what's great about what Dan's saying, revisiting, like besides, I hadn't seen them watch the movie in years. So I watched it a few times. I watched the arena tour. I watched highlights of the Korean version from recent years. I watched all these different videos on it. I went back and listened to old, there's so many great productions of it. Like I mentioned, one that became really big was the 92 Australian cast recording, because they also did some rearranging of the music, which was, I remember all of us were like, this is great. That was really good. And do you guys remember there was one they did in 94, the Indigo Girls did? It was called
What?
Jesus Christ Superstar: A Resurrection. The two Indigo girls, Amy and what were their names? Yeah, one played Judas, one played Jesus.
Yeah, I remember that.
All these other indie like rockers or played the other parts. It's pretty good.
I'm gonna
It's
look that
interesting.
up.
I
That sounds
gotta
awesome.
hear that.
It's interesting. It's those interesting.
Because
So there's
I
all these
mean,
things, yeah.
if there is a flaw, I mean, it's inherent in the material, but it's like Mary is a has great songs, but the roles for women in here are pretty limited. It's not, it's not a great show for women in the
It's
cast.
leper number one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's about it.
For sure.
So, and like I said, I'd be interested to hear, the staff version of it. So,
yeah, it's interesting.
oh,
Well,
by the way, just before we
Wasn't
do
there an
Jimmy's,
all-female version recently?
oh, I wish that'd be amazing.
yeah. So
I think there was supposed to be a concert. I might be making this up, but I swear it was an all-female kind of lots of big Broadway gal names that were doing like a concert version. But I might be. I don't think. I'm making that
well,
up.
they should. There's
Or
another.
maybe it
great,
didn't happen. Like it was like someone had booked it and it got canceled or something.
Yeah.
But I think it was happening.
It's another great idea. Before we go and do Jimmy's recasting, though, I do want to mention in the 2018 version, the ending is extraordinary.
Yeah, I
Here.
agree.
Right? Where the
Cheers.
cross, like they show him on the cross, and then it's TV. I mean, I don't know how
A
they
beautiful
do it.
shot with the
Just a beautiful
walls
shot
coming together into shape of a
and
cross.
just how they show it fade into the distance. And,
The whole wall moved back.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just
It's really
Well,
great.
also
So
he
magical.
went and fit on the cross and went through the wall into
Mhm.
the cross. I mean,
Yeah.
I not against the movie, but to me that was the most impactful.
Oh,
way to
yeah.
end it.
Yeah.
The first thing I thought of was because for Kung Fu Month, we had our friend Randall Trang on, who's a professional stuntman. My first thought was like, how do they get John Legend's people to agree to this fucking
Oh,
that was dangerous as hell. Like
so much
Yeah.
insurance.
that's a stunt. It's like,
So
I was like,
much
ooh,
insurance.
And
yeah.
yeah, and I mean, he's got the wires. I mean, which they don't even bother to hide.
Sure,
And
yeah.
I will say about the 2018, because Dan, I think you and I talked a little bit about it when it came out. When it happened, because you and I were both like, oh, we can't wait to see this. And I mean,
Yeah.
it does. It's a great live. It catches the energy of a live performance really well.
Yeah. Which is what I think productions should have. They should have that sort of like rock star setting, rock
Mhm.
venue setting. I think it sort of really works for it.
Well, that production was supposed to go on tour. It
Oh,
was.
it was.
They after it was such a hit,
Oh.
they had completely redone it, and it was going to be a concert version like that. They were already casting it. It was about to go out, and then COVID.
Ah.
So it canceled all of it.
I
But
see.
that we were supposed to have we were going to be able to see it ourselves, probably in a town near you,
Mhm.
sort of thing, which I was
Nice.
so excited for. But yeah, hopefully, when we get through all this mess, they resurrect it. Haha. And it comes
Yeah.
back.
All right. Cool.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right. So, Dan, what I do for when we do movies like this, because I'm of Asian descent, and representation matters, I like to recast things ethnically, usually all Asian, sometimes other ethnics as well. So I've done a modern day recasting for you guys. So let me share the screen so I can show you. You can hear some of these amazing people as well.
I'm always excited.
Oh
So
boy.
you share. Oh, first of all, here's some shots. Here's me in Superstar.
Oh my God.
Backstage, like my long hair back there. That's my friend Andre who played that. Then there's Yeah, just random. As a leper.
There's the leper. Yep.
And the priest, as a priest, whatever, like there we are.
Oh my God. Look at you,
Pretty
Jimmy.
great, yeah. So first up, I didn't find a picture of her, but the voice of this is so great. I gotta play it. It's like
No, that's me.
what
Yes, he was. He was.
Oh my God.
Oh, yes, he was.
I'm gonna
Erin
kill
Crosby,
you.
ladies and gentlemen.
I'm
Erin
gonna
Crosby.
kill you. I'm gonna kill
Amazing.
you.
That was from your off-Broadway production.
Shout the
Shout.
Mod musical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's the girl can sing her face
Yeah,
off.
hello. I'm just gonna
That's
shut up now.
hilarious.
Sorry,
Aaron
I'm
does-
sorry.
Amazing.
I'm blushing.
Oh, awesome. So for my again, I did a deep dive. I found a bunch of different singers online and stuff. People are more well known than others. I did run across that Korean version. There's been a few versions recently, and the guy who played Jesus in the Korean version, Park Un-tae. Let me just play a little bit here for you. This guy really nails.
Ah,
Wow.
Oh man.
And he really nails, like he really gets in, like in the end he's
Wow.
crying. I'm like, I highly recommend checking this clip out. He's like he nails the acting. Like I've seen the stage version with him too. He's incredible. So
He's
he'd be our
handsome too.
yeah,
That's
he'd
a
be
good
our Jesus. He'd be our Jesus.
Yeah.
For Judas, I did a little gender swap here, and I think we know who she is and what she sounds like. But let's I think Janelle Monáe as Judas
Oh.
She would
would
be
be.
insane.
Come on.
I mean, she could do it anything. She's
Yeah, she would be
incredible.
great.
Would love to see her. Okay, so for Mary,
wow.
there's a Korean singer. Yes, she's a K-pop star. I love K-pop, but she's she's born in Korea, but raised in Canada and America. So she speaks full English, no accent. She's totally fine. She's part of this wildly popular female K-pop group called Red Velvet. Here's
Oh,
her.
you love Red Velvet.
I do
Oh,
love
yeah.
Red Velvet. So here she is singing.
And in the bad times I fear myself.
She's so good.
I'm of the deep end, watch as I dive in.
Kind of a Mary song
I'll
too.
never meet
Yep.
the ground.
Yeah, good Mary.
Crash to the
She's great.
surface.
So little Wendy Schoen from Red Velvet would be our Mary.
Good call, Jimmy.
Yeah.
As Pontius Pilate, he's an Korean American actor. He's done a lot of American musical theater, but you guys actually might know his name, might recognize him. But he's done a couple of productions of Jesus Christ Superstar in Korea, both as Jesus and Judas. But I think he'd be a really good pilot because he's a little older now. So here he is just at home playing the piano, singing a little Bon Jovi.
I've got nothing to prove, 'cause the truth
Michael K. Lee.
died to defend. I wanna lay you down in a bed of roses. For tonight,
Yep.
Good one.
bed of nails.
Michael K. Lee as our pilot. Okay. So of course we had Larry Marshall, Simon Zellips. Again, I'm going to do another recasting here. This is again going back to K-pop because I love K-pop. She's born and raised in America, moved to Korea like 10 years ago, became a giant K-pop star, solo singer. Her name is Ailey. This girl is incredible. Like, okay, this is the show she's on called Immortal Songs, and they'll sometimes like do songs of a certain person, and they did Michael Bolton, and he was actually there in the audience as she's singing this.
No pressure.
Yeah. Yeah, Michael's like feeling it. He's like, now that is some Simon Zellips right there. She's great. There's this other clip I'll play really quick where she's different Korean variety shows. Or there's this one show where they take you out to dinner and drinking the ideas. You sort of just sing a cappella. So she did this one. She has these great Korean songs, and she has a song called "Don't Touch Me." So here's this scene. Look at all the empty soju bottles at the table. You know, they're just eating, and her friend like touches her shoulder, and then she sort of jokingly like it bothers her, and then she starts singing in Korean her song, and the name of the song is "Don't Touch Me." So it's really funny. But this is just her a cappella. Insane. She's like, what are you doing?
내 맘에 손대지 마 소름 끼치니까 내 이름 부르지 마 듣기 싫으니까 네가 부르다 girl.
That girl will play Ailey. Look up Ailey later on. She is incredible.
She's got some good Simon vibes there.
For King Herod, because it is sort of a fun number. You think theatrics. You think, you know, like somebody would be really like just a big actor. Let's get a little Lizzo. Lizzo as Herod would fucking rock that shit. Yeah. It'd be awesome. And then the last few here, we got so Caiaphas, you need a deep bass. Now this guy pretty well known in he's this Mongolian singer, and he was on that show, what was it called, that James Corden hosted, that The World or something like that, where they showed things around the world. But he also has been like on Mongolia's Got Talent or like that, and he won it. But this dude, you're not prepared for this voice. What do you hear this voice?
Mongolia's Got Talent. I'm there for that.
That voice, that's Caiaphas.
Yeah. His name is Ankerdine, Mongolian. Amazing. I mean, that's clearly Caiaphas. The voice
right
of Mongolia. That's awesome.
That's right.
That's so cool.
And the
What a
last two,
bass.
last two as Anna's. So Henry Lau is again born in Canada, but is of Chinese descent, but moved to Korea, became a big K-pop star. Also, he's also an actor. He's in this big movie on Netflix right now, from a couple of years ago, called I think it's Double Sword. This whole sci-fi fantasy kung fu movie. So he's got a pretty high tenor voice. Doesn't show it off too much here, but he's got a great voice. So Henry Lau, he's great. And finally, as Peter.
Oh, who could? That's such a hard role. I don't know. That's a tough
Philip.
one.
Philip Tubas played it, who, if you don't know, became a famous porn star after he left. After Jesus Christ Superstar, he decided to become a porn star. So the real actor did. Yeah. So I guess he got tired of legit work and got into pornography. But
it's a tough business.
let's bring back our you might know this guy. Not Steve Perry. This is the guy who took over. Arnel Pineda.
Oh yes.
He's a Filipino guy that you found online to take over the new lead singer Journey 8 years ago. I don't know. Where's his face? Where is he? Where is he? Yeah, the dude wails. Yeah. So
he wails.
Pretty great. I'll stop sharing now. And then this would be directed. I'd love to see our friend, our great Korean director of Parasite and many other great films, Bong Joon-ho, direct this. So that's my modern day recasting of Jesus Christ Superstar.
Very good.
I would be in the chorus somewhere. I don't know where, but
well done.
Again, Jimmy, I think you need to get into casting. You're very
good. So good.
I think I might become a powerful casting agent very soon, guys. Just so
there you go. Well,
Dan, send me your stuff. Let me see what I can get you in, buddy. I'm gonna make you famous, kid. See, stick with me.
All right. Well, final thoughts about Jesus Christ Superstar, having gone on this wonderful journey. It was fantastic revisiting it, just watching, I watched the movie last night. I watched the John Legend version this morning, which is inexplicably online for this AMSR site. I don't know, whatever. You can watch it for free. It's a little weird, but anyway, I don't get tired of it. It's like you say, it's just, and revisiting it, doing a deep dive on it like this at this point. I love it just as much as ever, and even more. I always learn new things. Really enjoyed it.
Love it. one of my favorite musicals ever. I was so happy I got to do it. Like there was a few shows that I always wanted to do when I did my musical theater career, and this was one of them. And I was so glad I eventually got to do it. I could watch this again. I may watch it again later. Who knows? Or I may just go down the YouTube
Right?
hole again of watching everyone sing,
Well,
different versions of it. So yeah.
I'm gonna watch Starlight Express after this, but
Oh,
All right.
no,
Sure. Get on your skates. Let's go.
yeah. Erin?
Starlight Express. Starlight Express.
Did you ever see the Family Guy one where he's just yelling,
Yes.
running around in circles, going Starlight Express, Starlight Express, Starlight Express, Starlight Express, Starlight, yelling it. That's it. Throws his helmet off. Again, I just love the music. It hits something in me that I cannot explain. That when that guitar starts in the overture, all the hair on my body just kind of stands up and I'm ready. And I hope that never goes away. I think it gets, better and better with age. And I'm probably going to do the same as Jimmy and leave this meeting and head down to YouTube wormhole and start watching all my favorite clips again. Cause this has been just a treat to kind of revisit this week.
Yeah.
Actually, let's start a new Zoom room, and Erin and I are actually going to sing the whole show for you guys.
Yeah.
So
We'll just go.
gonna go down,
Dan, if you can stick around. Dan, how about you? How about your last final thoughts on JC?
This was such a pleasure. Is there any other musical that rocked
No.
as much as Juice Scares Superstar? I don't think so.
I mean, Oh Calcutta maybe, but that's it.
No, man. This is I think it is my favorite,
Mhm.
and I hope to get to I hope to get to perform in it somehow in some kind of concert version or something, or I would not mind blowing my voice out.
Worth
You're a
it.
trained singer. I think it'd be fine.
Yeah, man, this was really fun. Thanks.
Awesome.
Well, Dan, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks both you guys for joining us.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
Erin,
Yeah.
of course. Erin will be back for the rest of musical month, I think.
Pretty much, yeah.
Basically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have a lot to say.
She's
Oh,
our
yeah.
musicals ringer. Since as you
Yeah.
heard, she can sing her face off. So yeah.
But I'm a movie musical fanatic and
There you
have
go.
been since I was a child. So that's
Awesome.
what I think. It's so joyous. I'm so glad you guys are doing it. It's
Awesome.
like my favorite topic besides true crime.
So Dan, I want to give you one quick chance to plug your comics.
Oh yeah, I have 3 titles with heavy metal right now on shelves. Moon Lake, which is like my homage to all things heavy metal, the movie and Twilight Zone and Tales from the Crypt, and then I have Brooklyn Gladiator, which is my dystopian sci-fi cautionary tale.
Yeah, well, pretty much we're living it, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, exactly. And then because I was like, holy shit, we're living it, I was like, why don't I write about Right Now, which is Fishkill, which is the seeds that sets up Brooklyn Gladiator, and that's like a modern noir with a little bit of sci-fi sprinkled in there. Check it out. It's on shelves now
Excellent.
at www.foglersfiction.com. You can get all of my projects there.
Excellent.
Awesome.
It sounds awesome. Yeah. So as people that don't know, Heidi and I, for new listeners, Heidi and I started this. Heidi is, of course, the editor-in-chief of The Beat, and I do Comic News Insider. That's what we came up with the name, Comic Beat Insider. But I have Comic News Insider, a separate podcast. So this will be played later on, Mev. But Dan, I'd love to get you on there to talk about some of the comics and stuff too. So maybe
For sure, man. My pleasure.
Sure. Yeah. But awesome fun times, guys.
All right. Well, until next time, I am Heidi MacDonald, editor-in-chief of The Beat at Comics Beat.
Yeah.
Yes. Just off we go. Oh man, it makes everything better. It really does.
And where can they find you online, Heidi?
They can find me online at Comics Ace on all social media. Comics Ace, COMIXACE. Jimmy?
And I'm Jimmy Aquino, the host producer of Comic News Insider. ComicNewsInsider.com. You can find me with a weekly podcast covering comics, TV, film, and pop culture since 2005. And you can find me online everywhere at Jimmy Aquino. That's JIMMYAQUINO. That's JIMMYAQUINO. Twitter, Instagram, everywhere.
And Erin?
Oh, it's Erin Crosby Sings on Twitter, and on the Instagram, it's at Erin Crosby Makes, where it's lots of food, puppies, and flowers.
She's an amazing chef too, so yeah, she does it all.
Nice. And,
I'm not.
and Dan Fogler's fictions.net, right?
Yeah, Fogler's Fictions on Instagram and www.foglersfiction.com. You can find me there.
Awesome. Well, until next time, keep on rocking, keep on listening to Jesus Christ Superstar.
Superstar.
And we
Nice.
are